someplace.
Robocalls, spam calls.
I think you can sell your phone.
It was my number calling me.
Yeah, I've heard that before. You're going to unplug it here.
That's good.
Thank you.
I'll come to order this meeting. Greene County Council is now in session. Please rise and join us. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Okay, so I guess the next thing we'll
We're gonna
go
wait for
through.
Marvin.
I don't know. I guess we can go ahead and go through the minutes though, can't we? Marvin's back. So, did everybody get a chance to read the minutes and did they approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion. Second.
All those in favor, we need to do a roll call. Karen? Brent?
Aye.
Ron?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Greg?
Aye.
And I'm an aye, so it passed 6-0. And I'm assuming Jerry's not like on the phone or anything,
I've
correct?
heard from him, no requests, so it's not on.
Okay, so if you want to go ahead and start that one, pass that on. Okay, so the next thing is reorganization of the board. So at this time, motion for president.
I would nominate Greg.
Second.
Okay, any other nominations? And we'll take a vote on that. So, Joe, how do you
Yes.
vote? Okay, Ron,
Yes.
Brent,
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
All abstain.
Okay, so.
Thank you, folks. Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Oh. Okay, so nominations for vice president.
I'll nominate Kelly.
I second it.
Okay, any other nominations?
Can the president make the nomination?
He's not playing president, is he?
I'm just asking the question.
I just didn't know.
Any other nominations? Okay, none, then we'll take a roll call. Joe,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brent,
Aye.
Karen, Greg,
Aye.
and I will abstain. Thank you all. Okay, so next on the agenda, economic development radius funding request. So Greene, I think you're up.
Hello, how are you all?
Doing okay?
Okay, I'd like to introduce Jeff Weil, who is the president and CEO of our 8-county regional organization, Radius Indiana. Jeff, Greene County is part of that 8-county regional organization, and they have been since its inception in 2009.
Yep.
Yeah. Westgate Authority used to pay for our membership into Radius Indiana, but since their funding was cut by 80%, they no longer can do that for us. And so both Martin and Davies County are in the same boat as Greene County, and those counties have both agreed to pay for their county membership into the Radius Indiana organization. So I brought Jeff with me to answer any questions that you have. Just to talk a little bit about what Radius has done, what regional organizations can do for rural communities like ours.
I'm sorry, you said that Westgate used to do Davies, Greene, and who?
Martin.
Martin, okay.
Oh, Martin doesn't have to.
They just agree now, that's definitely.
Okay.
What county, so what counties is it?
So Radius is set up under state statute to do regional economic development. And it's Orange County and the 5 contiguous counties around it. So it's Martin, Lawrence, Washington, Du Bois, Crawford, and Orange were the original 6. And then because Davies and Greene are so tied together at Westgate and Crane with kind of the military defense sector economy, we reached out and brought in Davies and Greene into Radius when we started in 2009. And so that, as Brianne said, that was originally a contract. Radius and the Westgate Authority had to pay annual dues. Finances changed for the Westgate Authority. They passed the cost on to the 2 counties, to Davies and Greene. So got an approved agreement with Davies County at this point, and now we're chatting with you all. I'm going to take a step back from talking about Radius specifically, though, just to talk about, it is important for regional organization. In Indiana and nationally, really, a county level organization really has to rely on a regional organization, provide kind of a lot of behind the scenes support. And for Greene County, well, I would say for this part of Southern Indiana, there's really only 2 counties I can think of that don't belong to any regional organization. One is Monroe County and the other is Brown, but every other county around here south of 70 belongs to a regional organization of one kind. There are some other regional organizations around. Radius is very unique in that we're fully staffed with full-time staff. We've got 5 full-time staff positions basically to do things related to supporting Crane and the defense sector, supporting tourism as part of our local economy, supporting workforce development kinds of activities, and just economic development in general. So we have staff people who specialize in things, and none of the other regional organizations in this area have that kind of support. Also, we are a completely rural organization, which makes us very unique in the region. Other in Indianapolis or in Evansville or Fort Wayne, a regional organization, they all have, understandably, they've got kind of a focus on an urban center. They take care of the other counties too. But Radius, we are completely rural with the counties I've named. Obviously, our biggest city is Bedford and Jasper. We're used to dealing with rural communities and trying to support the needs that rural communities have. So our total budget for Radius this year is about $2.4 million. So for the $20,000 we're asking contribution from Greene County, it's roughly 120 to 1 is the ratio.
Is it the membership fee?
Yeah, that's basically, it's an annual membership fee. If you were to, if Brianne were not to join Radius and she wanted to look to join another regional group, the Terre Haute Regional Group is one that's contiguous to you guys. It includes Sullivan and Vigo County. So the 11 county group is the Indiana Uplands, and that is funded with Lilly money. And that doesn't do, it does a lot of good things. Matter of fact, I'm on the board of that, and they're on our board too. We work with them closely. They don't do traditional economic development. They don't do things like talk to businesses about growing here. They do a lot of good work with schools and workforce. White River Valley, for instance, with the things going on there, their student-led business, they got a grant from the Regional Opportunities Initiative, ROI, which is the Uplands. So those are good things. And
to come out of RY or the Uplands. But
I got one quick question. Marvin I don't see Greg up there. Can he hear what's going on?
I've got the speaker up to my ear so I can hear. You're probably seeing my ceiling. So, but I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm gonna step a little closer to the
I thought it was a garage door.
You can take that.
It's a barn metal roof ceiling.
Went sideways, that's. Pass that.
So, no, that's okay. So, I'm not sure what I was saying at the moment, but for economic development, regional support really, it's kind of a behind the scenes kind of support for Greene. We do things like I said, we support the workforce initiative. We provide training for local elected officials. We're going to have a 3-day course down in French Lick in May 17, 18, 19. If any of you wanted to come down to that, we'll have a lot of speakers and a lot of sessions that will talk about things like incentive programs and site development and marketing, et cetera. So
We had one scheduled, we sent invites to, then it got zoomed or whatever because of COVID.
yeah, we do.
I don't remember if that was a French Lick or. We could have been.
Last year was in person.
Yeah, we
I
did
think
it
it was
back
in May. Actually.
Since I used to be county commissioner for a couple of terms, and I was county councilman for a couple of terms. So, I brought in a feeling that elected officials really need to understand about how they can, what their role can be and how they can help folks like Greene, help the organization, support the county's efforts. So that's why we do those kinds of courses now.
I will say from my perspective as a lead of, when it comes to the Uplands versus Radius, with the Uplands, they're very specific. We're working on broadband, we're working on housing, for example. And so they come to us a lot, like, hey, we're working on this grant, we're working on this program, so they'll reach out to us. But with Radius, that is talking to my board, for example, we have an idea. It's like, okay, Radius is a great resource. And so with them, I touch them on a regular basis, reach out to them for a lot of marketing help. For example, they completed a site certification on Carl Locamp's property down by the interchange last year. And that price tag was about $45,000. And it cost my organization $5,000. What is the site certification? Site certification tells you everything you need to know about the site. So that way, whenever you've got someone who's interested in developing that land, they know where the utilities are. They know the different soil borings have been done. So they know what the soil is like. They know, if utilities aren't there, they know how close they are. Roads,
Exactly,
proper,
it's due diligence.
yeah, future potential use of that site. But it's a nice report that I can share with developers who can be interested in that site. So
That's part of the matrix you put together.
that was just for tax abatements.
It's not the same.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's something different. The matrix.
But that was another example of a resource because we had this tax abatement matrix that they put together. And then we were talking about like a point system or an application. And so Jeff put that together for us as well. So like I said, it's a daily resource for my organization. For sure.
We're trying to do more to support local businesses as well. And Paragon Force, for example, last year, I think it was Greene, we put them through the economic gardening programs. We went and talked to them about consulting work Radius could pay for to help them reach new markets or understand how to better target markets so that they can be a local company here in Greene County that can grow thanks to having a little more consulting advantage.
Be more competitive.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, didn't you get the city of Lincoln 80,000 to help utilities Promark?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We did that when Promark came in, they needed to extend the sewer line. We helped pay for that sewer
Well,
line.
they could stop materials now. Because they got us 80,000, and that's not just the city, this goes for the county. It can be used in Salisbury.
It's really nice to be able to pull Jeff, and then our regional, or not a regional, but yeah, our regional rep for the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. It's nice to have them at the table to help with incentives, because there's just a lot, like I said, that our county and our cities and towns just can't do without that support. And they have an actual fund called the Regional Impact Fund, which is their deal closing fund. So it helps get them to that level. Okay, what is it that you need to push this project forward? And they can usually help with that closing.
So you're actually paid the 80,000 for the framework, or you got really grant?
We contributed $80,000 from Radius to the city. And the city used that money to pay for extending the sewer line where Promark is. Yeah, so Promark didn't have to pay for putting the sewer line in.
So we've been part of Radius since 2009. We rely on Radius, just the commissioners.
Well, they are a fine group of gentlemen. So,
I'm not talking about it down.
but you know, Brianne would be a free agent basically at that point to.
So it'd be for the planning and.
So where does the rest of your funding come from?
So we have just did a study on this. About 56% of our funding comes from the French Lick Casino gaming tax. I mentioned that statute that designates which counties. When they put the casino license in French Lick, they treated it different from every other casino. They said you're in a rural area that needs economic development help. They said a percentage of the gaming tax has to be used for rural economic development. And so that's why Radius was created, was to carry out that mission. And then about 15% comes from corporate contributions. We get Fuji Energy, Duke, AT&T, Smithville, German American, et cetera, a lot of corporate partners who want to work with us. And then the remainder comes from grants we get.
So this membership will go toward that budget, or?
Yeah, it would be, it's part of the pot of revenue. We're working
I
right.
could be wrong there.
There's a small company in Linton right now that we're sending through the economic gardening program. It's the company that provides filament for 3D printers, kind of a high-tech company. So we're gonna, they're called Tallman 3D now. I think it was H&H.
Yeah.
New ownership.
Shane
Yeah,
Huffman
Shane.
and Jason Hubble.
It's pretty good if you go wine.
Started in his garage.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're also tied in with the Japanese.
That's right. We work closely, you know, in Indiana overall, there's over 300 Japanese companies that have their plants located around Indiana. But this section of Indiana really got overlooked in the 80s and the 90s and even the 2000s when a lot of Japanese companies came over. So we have devoted a lot of work into really building a relationship with the Japanese government and Japanese trade associations, so that Japanese companies that are looking for a place in the Midwest will start thinking about our part of Southern Indiana as a place to come and do business. You know, that's that kind of foreign direct investment really helps to diversify where your capital investments come from. So it's a good thing. The Japanese firms tend to be really good corporate citizens, really, in communities. They're pretty good companies to have around. So we are focusing hard on that. We had the Consul General of Japan from the Chicago office came down to the region in October, and the Japan External Trade Organization actually came through Linton in October for that same opportunity we put on. So.
This can be used as a county pot. It's just, I can tell you where, as your blood, it's just. Well, it's somewhere blue to see if you want the money. You know, if you got an idea, you're gonna have to reach out to them. Yeah, I agree. I think.
So tourism is involved in this too. So we have a innkeeper's tax and so forth. Why wouldn't we do some of that and then some out of your budget?
Yeah.
I mean, you get 130,000 from us to be members of this group.
Yeah, that 130,000 is in the operational budget for sure, but I'm sure that we could look for investors to help us cover the cost.
Right.
And then innkeeper's tax.
And then with innkeepers, they could be on the board too, as a member,
On the Radius board,
or sort of a member of Radius.
um,
I don't know how involved you get in tourism.
so we've set up our own regional brand. We called it Discover Southern Indiana. And it's meant to really market to the whole Midwest, the idea that there's a lot of good things to see in Southern Indiana. If a family's looking for a good place to have a vacation for 4 or 5 days, they don't need to go necessarily to Southern Ohio or to the Smokies or the Ozarks or
So you're understanding, you go to the boat show, different things like that.
except, we try to market
On a larger
outside.
scale, Yeah,
Local folks, I think, are doing a good job marketing to markets in Indiana. We're trying to reach outside of Indiana to get the folks from Grand Rapids or Toledo or Madison, Wisconsin to think about Indiana, our part of Southern Indiana as being a tourism destination. So bring
I'm
those
also,
folks.
I'm also
Goose
part
Pond
of,
and everything.
yeah, population attraction incentive program. It's me and 3 other counties, right? That's great. And Radius puts in 3,000. And then we put in 2,000. So $5,000 incentive per family who moves from out of state to Greene County. And the one hurdle that we're facing right now is where we put them, because housing is a problem. They're looking for rentals mostly. We just don't have a good supply of rentals, but it also gives us a good idea to tell people who are maybe investing in rental properties to say, this is what we're looking for, this is what we need, because we get a database on a regular basis of people looking to move to Greene County from New Mexico, from Oklahoma. And so it gives us a good idea of what people are looking at from within. And we would not know about that program without Radius. And they put some of it in too. That's what's so great is that they put in 2 and then we put in, it just, our price tag is not as high with having Radius as a partner. So it helps kind of augment our budget. We're doing 11 homes, 11 families. So $55,000 total. In this program per year. Now, we haven't given any yet, and we haven't had any, we've had people, look elsewhere or fall off. And like I said, we're struggling with where we put rental properties and housing in general, which is another thing economic development is working on. So.
Are there any programs right now that Radius is helping you with in Greene County?
Well, we've got the
Population
population
attraction.
attraction incentive, the economic gardening program, and then they're always available for projects. Anybody who comes over to the area to move, they're always available for incentive packages. But then one thing too, the site certification program, Greene County kind of got really lucky with that. We were chosen back to back for the site certification program. So we have ProMark, and then we had the Dunkerley site, and then we had Carl Hokamp's property. And so I put in for a third when he asked again. I'm like, well, might as well ask. So I put in for the site that's across the street from the hotel from across 231. I put in for that site, but I think another county got selected. But I'm competing with 8 others, so it's pretty impressive. We got 2 back to back, so it's good to help us with marketing.
Questions? So I would look for a motion to,
We're gonna look at splitting this with the tourism and the innkeeper's tax and Brandon's budget.
it depends on if anybody makes a motion for this contract that's drawn up that Marvin sent to us, or if we're looking at something else, so.
How much is in the tourism fund right now?
60 or 70,000.
67,000.
What's coming in there a month, Joe? Can you tell me, or a year?
lot more than what it was. They've expanded something. They've got a lot more money. Local areas part of the state. The problem is you gotta make sure you can do use it for that purpose.
Well, that could be promoting tourism.
And
So I think we need to look
we
at
still
those,
have to look into.
we need to look at those avenues and then make a decision. And, you know, if they can do 10 and you can do 10, then I think it's important to have them, to be a
I
member of
can't do
that.
10. I can't do 10. I can look at my budget and see what I could do, but I can't do 10. I mean,
Maybe
I
we need
just
those
lost an
questions answered
employee,
and
so.
do something.
If that's what you're feeling, then we need a motion to table to look into other avenues.
We have to next meeting to look at that.
Yeah, we, after effective February 1st, and we'll be on suspended membership with Radius.
So there's a 1 month grace period through the month of February. So you know, if you get something more than February.
Okay. We have a meeting.
That's our next meeting.
You have something, Greg?
I didn't get all that. It runs out when? There's a 1 month grace period, or I didn't get all that.
Yeah, that's correct. There's a 1 month grace period, the month of February.
So if we have our meeting in February, we'll still be in the grace period.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I thought. I would make a motion to table this until we can take a look at possibly splitting up the funding on it. I'm for paying it, but I just think that there may be more ways to do it than just reaching into county general.
Thank you, Greg.
I second it.
I think it's a great concept. Smart thing.
So we'll take a roll call. Joe?
Yes, to table.
Yes. Ron?
Yes.
Brent?
Aye.
Karen? And I'm an aye, so we'll look into this and let you guys know something at our meeting in February.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so next,
I've got one copy.
I've got that ready to go as well.
I can do it. I think. So.
okay, so we have next up 2022 salary ordinance amendment for the prosecutor's office.
Kelsey Palant and Heather Stocker, I didn't update their raises like I did everybody else, so they need to be caught up. So that's, and approving this, you bring them up to where they need to be, where they should be. Then, and I have time to go back and fix from the first of the year until the next. Kelsey Palant. He got LA. Kelsey with a K, and then Heather Stock.
So which budget is that coming out of? The prosecutor budget?
Yeah, it's not the prosecutor, it's Title 4D, it's 1,660. It's a Title 4D out of the general.
Okay, so look for a motion to be made to accept this. Anybody has any questions?
Oh, did you make a motion?
Yeah, your second. Okay, so roll call, Joe,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brent,
Aye.
Karen, Greg,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay. Next up is the additional appropriation request for Judge Rudisil.
You approved a new hire or second magistrate deputy. And I told him, he's gonna have to come back this year and ask for additional appropriation. So the salary would be $37,693. And then he included $200 for longevity, so $37,893.
Okay, so we need a motion.
Who's in this position?
I don't know what the young lady's name is. I think she came in today, but I can't remember what.
And I've not met her.
Is she new to this?
She's brand new to the position. She
Yes,
started
started
in December.
Yeah, just.
This
So is
was
that
a
where
brand
Bay
new-
Senior was?
This was a brand new position.
Oh.
We added two. Remember they came, so they needed help because they were backlogged on all cases and stuff. So. Okay, so. Okay, so a motion to accept the additional appropriation.
So made.
Advertise, yes, to, I was gonna ask, is this the advertisement? Yes,
Oh, it's that.
yeah, we have to advertise it. Yeah,
Position.
yes. That was after the budget. So, okay, so a motion to advertise,
I'll make a motion to advertise.
okay, second. Okay, roll call, Joe,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brent.
Aye.
Karen. Craig,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay. And then the next thing on the agenda is the fund encumbrances.
Yes.
Oh, for those two people. Yeah.
The total of the encumbrances is, now this is all the funds, it's $2,092,581.59. $581.59. Yeah. And the one that always concerns Ben Rager is the general fund. And it's $80,451.53. So it's quite a bit less than what's been in the past. There've been times where
80,000 what?
$80,451.53.
On his explanation when he sent the agenda.
Yeah, I know, I've got it.
So that's, the biggest part of it's the ARPA funds that the commissioners have given me all kinds of explanations what they're going to use them for, what to use them for, as everything pans out.
So this is stuff that was in 21, that's going to be paid in 22.
There's two ways that I allow people to give me an encumbrance. You won't see it if I don't dig it by me. One is either an invoice from 2021 or an explanation of the use to need that in 22. The judges, the prosecutor wrote down some very detailed things. I sort of take care of the commissioners, and then Marvin gave me some things they were thinking of using on ARPA. But it's one of those two things. I either need a very strong explanation of what's going on or an invoice from 20. Otherwise, they would, like with commissioners ARPA, if you didn't approve that, they'd have to go back and just request it again. This hour.
And the correctional facility, that's the bond.
Yeah, that was, that was actually due, usually we pay that in December. But I got I think it was the first day we came back, must have been the Monday after, I got an email and said, hey, we haven't seen this yet. So I went down the bank and did a direct wire. So I was just trying to pull it over to meet it.
Mr. Bond.
Yeah, otherwise,
I thought it was.
Otherwise it'll be in the whole thing.
Questions or comments? Take a motion.
What's the CCD?
CCD is King County Development.
Yeah. 32.
Oh, construction services agreement with Stockton Building Supply built the highway department office, and this just pulled over from last year. I think it was $150-some thousand total. build it, and that's where they were paying those things.
So that would come out of the budget we had under CCD.
It would be the budget for 2021 moving forward. to cover these.
Because there was a lump sum in there or whatever too.
Yeah, there's a transfer of funds, which explains the commissioner, it means you move that around so they can use their own decision making to move it.
They're not actually asking for additional monies.
No,
It's
it's-
already what was
it's already in the
there.
budget
It
for last
just
year.
needs to be transferred to 2022.
Right, to meet,
Yes.
to meet
I'll
the,
make a
to meet the-
That's, I didn't understand.
Roll call, Joe,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brent,
Aye.
Karen. Aye. Greg,
Aye.
I'm an aye.
all the papers with it, if you want to look at it.
Okay.
This is the signature page.
So the next thing up is Board of Commissioners ratification of resolution 2022-01. Appropriations. He said he's not there. He goes over there if you want to look at it.
Oh, that's-
This is once again another amendment to our ARPA plan or whatever they call it now. Since we did have this interim final rule, which,
Final.
yeah, the interim final, this might be the final, but it might not be.
It's supposed to be.
Made addendum to the final.
Right. And this has to do with premium pay for hospital employees. There is a great need at the hospital for employees, and commissioners kind of felt like this was be a little bit of something to kind of help let the people that have stayed, let them know how much we do appreciate the sacrifices that they have made. And this is the amounts that are in there. That is exactly the same thing that the county employees got. Everybody's treated the same. Said it was we kind of felt like it was needed right at this point in time. The hospital is 60 positions short. And so we're kind of hoping this will help encourage the people that are still there to stay.
So I would entertain a motion.
Hey, Nate, let me ask a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
Nate, did the hospital get any money for this? Did they get any kind of this relief money?
They got some different types of money throughout the whole pandemic. They got the payroll protection money that was just that they would not eliminate any positions.
Right. They haven't paid any kind of premium to them yet?
Yes, as a matter of fact, they have.
Yeah, okay, I didn't, what have they been paid then? I guess, is this going to be on top of theirs, or
Yes.
how much were they paid?
They based, the hospital based theirs on the years of service that had been there. So it's quite a bit different. I don't remember exactly for sure what how we did base that, but it was based on years of service. And this will just be a flat amount.
Okay. Well, I didn't realize that they'd been paid already, so that's, I don't know. I'm not against paying it, but I don't want to pay somebody that's already been paid, and then the county employees come up short on the short end of the stick on it.
My thoughts are, the county hasn't paid anything to the hospital employees.
Right, I understand. I'm talking about if we've paid our employees the premium, and the hospital's paid theirs, and now we're going to pay the hospital again.
Yes. I mean, the short answer, the county hasn't put anything into the hospital. And this is kind of the way the commissioners are thinking about this, is that the county needs to show our appreciation to the hospital. It's been a tremendous asset and will continue to be a tremendous asset to the county. I really hate to think what kind of shape we would be in the county-wise without the hospital. Because I mean, I think a lot of people kind of forget it at times, but the hospital is not just the hospital. It's all the clinics that are involved too. You know, that's a huge service to the community. And the commissioners believe, I keep wanting to say I, but I want to make sure that the commissioners think that this is extremely important for the county as a whole to show that support to the hospital.
Well, and I appreciate that and everything, but and I'm not against them getting their fair share, but I would kind of like to know what they've been paid, you know, in comparison to what our people have been paid, as far as the county employees.
It was different for every employee.
They didn't get paid anything from the county.
No,
That's all we're concerned with. We're not concerned if somebody paid them $1 million. Yeah.
that's the way I saw it.
Okay, Brent, I couldn't hear you, bud.
That was Ron, actually.
That was me.
Oh, okay.
I think you blocked me on your phone, so I don't care if you hear me.
I mean, that was our thoughts about it is, you know, we, the commissioners, believe that as tough as it is in the medical field now to retain employees, get new employees, as a county, we need to do everything we can do to incentivize people to stay and possibly maybe entice some other people to come here to go to work for us because we treat the employees good. We take care of that. We appreciate those employees.
I'm sorry, I know I saw this, but how much was the total amount? Was it like 200 and some thousand?
254,250.
Okay, so kind of just a drop in the bucket next to what Greene County
Yeah,
received.
and this is the ARPA money. It's nothing coming out of the county budget.
It's a premium.
Mike came today to represent the hospital board.
Past president of the hospital board. And I came actually to thank you, especially you, Greg, for helping us out. But it had been very trying times. The hospital did what we could. We based that on longevity. We had some employees been there 40 years. Okay, and they've had this last 2 years. It's been very trying. And we've had, the last I looked, we had 67 people out sick. Now you got to keep that ship going with 60 people out. Hard to do. A lot of overtime, a lot of difficulties. So what we were looking for, Nate and the commissioners, Rick and Ed had said that they would like to thank us in some way, and this was available. The hospital did. Yes, we have helped our employees, not nearly enough. Okay, I guarantee you that, but we did the best that we could with the budget that we had. So that's what we're looking for. I'd also like to thank you. In the past, you voted to support us in our bond issue. As you can see, as we go toward the hospital, that construction is going on, and it's going to be very, very nice. It's going to increase not just the looks, but the health care of the people of the county with what's going on. And once again, I think that's due mainly to our commissioners, okay, what the plan they've come up with, and then you guys supporting that. And even with the road work, I'm sure that you guys not have something to do with the road work out front. It looks, Lone Tree looks, used to be a hazard. Beautiful area, beautiful campus. So whichever you decide, I still thank you one way or the other for what you've done. And hopefully in the future, we can show our thanks even better. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions, feel free to yell at me.
One thing I'd like to add is the hospital did not request this. This was the commissioner's brainchild.
And
So,
it's ARPA funding. And I do credit the commissioners for the road work out. for the
Yes,
hospital.
it's been beautiful.
Excellent idea. Needed done.
Lots of,
It's good.
well, and I think that the whole facility there, the whole campus for the hospital, not only is it just good for the citizens in Greene County as far as giving them quality medical care, it's also something that's going to attract people to the area. I mean, new businesses, new people, just to live here. That's one of the first things that everybody will tell you, that anybody that's looking to move this direction, the first thing they want to know is what kind of schools do you have available and what kind of medical facilities you have available. And that's one thing we're working really hard at not just the commissioners, but at the hospital too, is to make that a quality facility. We really would like to keep everybody in the county for their health needs that we can, absolutely can, provide every service that we possibly can. And this is all a part of that.
All this money we paid out, like bonus type deal. or-
Yeah, they'll get it just like the county employees did. This will actually be, it's in the form of a grant to the hospital. They've provided us with a list of numbers. We don't have names, but we have numbers of how many employees that are full-time, part-time, and PRNs. And it'll be in the form of a grant to the hospital, and the hospital will take care of all the withholding taxes, payroll tax and everything like that. They'll just get it, the employees will just get another check, just like
This will be for all employees. So,
all the employees that worked through 2021 and are still employed now.
So they had to
Cheap
finish
type
it.
bonus.
Right.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
like retention type
Yes.
Yeah.
bonus.
They worked through that and they're still there.
alive.
And that, you're right.
mainly because they're not Greene County employees, but they're, the hospital is Greene County.
Yes, it is a county hospital. And that's the reason that we looked at this, and Marvin helped us with all the legal end of it is, and that's the reason we said it needs to be in the form of a grant.
Well,
Will there be other grants that somebody asked for?
Our healthcare people a bonus and end up having money left over from the ARPA funding from the state.
I shouldn't say this too loud, but amen.
And that still leaves us several dollars for anything unexpected to come up in the county.
We've still got, well, actually, within the next
3.1.
within the next 2 to 3 months, we should be receiving another 3.1. Right. And it has to be spent by 24.
Has to be committed by 24 and can be spent by 26, but still, it would be better administratively and for all elected officials involved to take care of it directly, I would suspect, and not have it lingering until 26. It makes sense to use it efficiently and timely.
And just the way that everything is right now, whatever we want to use that money for is just going to cost us more the longer we wait.
Okay, so I would entertain a motion. Ron? All those in favor, roll call. Joe?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Brent?
Aye.
Karen? Greg?
Aye.
I'm an aye. So,
Thank you all very much.
Thanks for
coming,
Mike.
thank you.
The next element of this is, of course, the appropriate $54,250. That is by separate motion, and it is a local appropriation, which means that it does not have to be advertised. The money becomes available as soon as you vote to make it available.
Can I get that amount?
$254,250, if I remember correctly.
That's what it says on this sheet I'm looking at. From Mark.
Yeah, from the ARPA funds, yes.
Okay, so I need a motion and a second to approve the local appropriation. Give an amount. Okay, Ron, second. Second. Karen. Okay, all those in favor, roll call. Joe,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brent,
Aye.
Karen. Greg.
Aye.
I'm an aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Keep me on track.
Sure thing.
So next up is Matt, County Auditor for Settlement Deputy Job Description and Employee Approval.
I appreciate Marvin's help in coming up with this. Well, and the other county auditors. So I sent this out to see how they did things and asked for help. That's what I sent you was what between Marvin and I, we came up with something. This was an employee similar to what they had just before I started. And we've really needed one. We've made it work. We still make it work. There's been some hiccups sometimes. It's funny because I got to thinking about those other counties our size. And I thought, well, just email them and see what they do. And I got 2 responses, which I thought I wouldn't get responses from the ones that had several employees. I didn't want to say, I forgot a blank. But I had one that said she had herself and 5. She thought, well, let's see what we can do without it. So she gave the employee back, sort of like what happened with before I came in. And she said they were in such stress and scrambling to get things done that she requested it back, and the council there did get it back. But that's really the main response I got from that one person. So we scrambled. Patty's helped, and as I told you, that's no longer possible. But if we don't get through to make it work, but I've been hamstrung for 11 plus years. It's just, no one would argue that's I did have one council member reach out to me and try to explain why we need this, because it's the most money the county deals with is through the settlements. So you're taking a chance, even though I had a sense of urgency that just drive most people nuts. So that helps us work through that. But I'm afraid it comes in. And I know I've only talking to that one council member, I looked up and I only asked for an employee one time. Now I've talked to you about it, which I know, you said, well, can't really do that. But I don't know what it's worth when if someone's done wrong, if we get some kind of issue with any one of the state entities that we deal with. At least one to ask.
And do you still have somebody come down from Indianapolis from, I don't know, is it MVP, Thomson Reuters, whatever it's called now, and they come down and help?
We had this last, we haven't before, because like I said, Patty's been helping, she's been filling that gap. But I think it was probably late summer or fall when I found out that really wasn't gonna work. So in December, we had Karen Baston from Almanum, used to be all those other names, now it's called Almanum.
Okay.
MVP, still called. But she came in, I think it's probably, I haven't actually got a bill on it yet. But yeah, she came down and Kathy and Lori Beth did a lot of the pre-work, and then Karen and Beth finished it up in the part they needed to do. A lot of the work was we spread out and just made it work. And we, because you've asked me the question before, we have one payroll person, we don't have anybody back. We just don't, we're just not big.
Remind me again how many people do that.
I have four recently. I'm the shortest of all counties our size by one. No one has this. I don't, like, I looked up at the 2010 minutes, couldn't see any reason why it was taken. It was just, and I'm not complaining, I just don't know why.
I'm not sure the treasurer's office is why they lost theirs either.
Yeah, I was thinking of the 5 offices. I call them 5 because it's R4 and clerk. 3 of them paid from different places. Treasurer lost an employee, but gained about $8,700 more in extra hire. Nothing about the order, nothing. No extra, no explanation. I'm not even complaining because we fought and made it work. It's just tiring. So I just never have understood why that was.
Is there a lot of cuts back in that day because of the general fund cuts or whatever?
There were cuts, really. So when you look at employees lost, it was a treasurer, except for the extra hire put back in, the auditor, and then 5 highway employees. Right. Brent knows about that. When he came in, they had to shuffle some stuff around. And I just, that's what we're doing. We're on the edge. I think I think it was at the beginning of 2012 because when you received that, you had to resign this. So it was really the next year. So it probably been Mike and Ned was probably part of that. Because I know Basil came over here, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. After I was treasurer, I was told that they lost an employee, but I don't know if they gave them a reason why at the time. I don't know.
I know the highway, they were thinking they could, I know it's run more, well, none of these guys were commissioners at the time. But that may have been just trying to streamline things. I know they were worried about money. I know that.
What about increasing, I mean, you only got 5,000 in there as for part-time. Take some of the burden off here. I mean, it's only 435 hours a year.
What worries me about a part-time is I just don't know if someone's gonna
They
think
could
of
take
what
the slack up of someone else.
Right, I worry about
full-time person.
I worry about what someone's gonna, well, yeah, I mean, I can see some. But I mean, we give them
See
the
how we
county,
get along with
we
that.
give them the county back that much money, so to speak. When we did. I just wish it wasn't done. Wish we wouldn't been, because and I've been doing it, my part of my job keeps me covered all the time. I try to help out when I can. But Kathy and Beth, they know they're gonna have to pick it up. Not that they haven't done well. But if we don't get someone, it's gonna be rocky.
I did have a couple of questions on the job description.
Yes.
Under requirements, second paragraph. Third paragraph. It's pretty narrows it down pretty much to somebody who's already done something.
Oh, yeah, the thorough knowledge part.
Yeah, I mean, is that what you really want to do?
Well, not so much. That's my fault.
It's actually on the base description.
I'm sorry, I can't.
It's an incumbent-based description, so for a new person, that is the direction that they are to be moving in.
Okay. But it just says job performance, it says the knowledge of all these things that indicate that they would have. I just had a question about that.
And I've looked at before, like another fund, I can take it from, but I have none. The only other thing I have are the transfer fees, and they're really very limited on what they're.
Well, I was just wondering if that was going to narrow down the pool of applicants.
No, I don't think so. I agree with what Mark was saying. That was sort of the mindset that we get someone in, they can see where they needed to be over one or two settlements. You know, you only see the same thing once every year, so it does take a while.
Well, and I guess from someone, if we would approve this, I guess, I'm just thinking of someone who is job hunting. They look at that and they say, well, I have to have this knowledge. When it's written. They might not.
I'd make sure, right, I see what you're saying. They would call me, I would try to explain to them.
Your advertisement will include, training will be provided.
Okay. That's the only thing I have.
I just don't know that I get someone for an extra higher rate. So it's just hard. The knowledge base you have to have. I mean, to be able to learn and you know, someone's gonna say, well, I didn't make it. So I've already had that once within the last year or so.
But it
Very
would
good
it would
employee.
free up one of your full-time people to dedicate more time to the settlements because it's only twice a year. So forth.
Well, the settlement process starts actually right now, the abstract, and continues on through the end of the year. You have maybe a month break in January, then you start over again. But my hope was to bring someone in that could learn that and take some of that burden from, well, really from Patty is what it amounts to. Because that burden has to be shifted somewhere.
Why hasn't your chief deputy been learning this stuff? Because you used to have a chief deputy in there that did this.
Well, we had a chief deputy. She didn't do all of it. She dealt with about probably half of it. But the problem is we had to have Karen come down then because she wasn't really, she was knowledgeable to a degree, but not where she should. She did part of the abstract with that. She did do the spring settlement pretty well by herself. That's the easier one. We always had to bring someone down in the fall. And there were mistakes and stuff.
So are we saying if we have this person, we don't have to. We still have to.
See that last? Oh, well, personally, I think we would need that probably one run through. We could do a lot of stuff over the phone. With rules, we talk to Karen Milne and MVP all the time. But if we got to that point, I think we probably just need 1 year. One visit probably when you get done with it one day is probably about $1,500 to $2,000. If we could just get that person in at one time. We had for my first deputy was a hard. We had every year I had to bring someone. And really the biggest problem we had in our settlements was excise. And it took me about several years to get it fixed, but it's fixed. And I have excise on there, but I was talking to Mark and I put it on there. It might be one thing I don't know because excise is very strange.
I really forgot that I don't think I will. What was the budget?
I was going to ask for what I was hoping for was basically a first deputy pay starting out, you know, that 0 to 5 year. I think it was 1904 now.
1904 now.
0 to 5 years. Really brought a lot of things, improved a lot of things, I believe, with said, the excise, and different things. But it's just complicated, you know. If you've ever been on Gateway, I don't know if you've ever been to Gateway. Like my thing on Gateway, I used to say State Board of Accounts, that annual report. Now, State Board of Accounts has about 7 things. BLGF has 8 or 9 things. And anytime anybody adds something to what we do, plus our commissioners will make it, we'll have something approved, we'll approve it. And then I got to deal with it sometimes for the, you know, for the attorney or whatever. And we get more and more on us. And it's just a stretch.
And so the reason that you didn't ask for this position at budget time is because you didn't know you couldn't use the volunteers.
Well, it had to do with that. Patty filled that hole. She had worked, you know, through the whole year. She helped us with other stuff, but she filled that. She really has done it better than anybody else I've had in there. Of course, she's my wife, but it is true. And now since she's not really. And the girls know, I've talked to the girls that this may come up where if we don't have this other employee. And the other thing, I can tell you because I've lost my chief deputy, so that's going to put a little more pressure. She's going to another career. So, and we talked. Well, she'll be here till the 11th. Hope that doesn't make her mad. I just let you know where we're at. So I'm going to have to go back to training through a new chief deputy, AP, which AP is probably one of the easier functions, AP receipts. And then I want that person to know that they're going to have to back up Nyla. Nyla has nobody to do her job. So that gives me some flexibility. Otherwise, I don't know what. Since last May, I think. Right around May. Did a good job. But she got another calling, and I said, bless her. But we talked about it. See, that was my hope is because you've asked me what my backup was for Nyla. I told you that. Just not. So if I could get my chief deputy to understand that, maybe have Marvin draw up another, which letting her know who my chief deputy is if they have to back Nyla up. Because Kathy learned it. Kathy lost it. She learned. She was excellent. But she also retired.
She working part-time for you?
She was. Yeah, Kathy was. Not last year, I think, but the year before. And Nyla had some things she had to go do. She filled in. Really, it took her about 6 weeks to learn it, the payroll. But once she learned it, but I couldn't keep her because she said that's not enough money.
So Margaret, what's the first thing you need to talk about? Yes, the position or-
Are there any other comments made?
Greg's still on here?
Yeah.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
So any other comments on what Matt has provided information wise?
So by increasing the part-time hours, it's not going to help you.
I just think it's going to be very difficult to get someone that really, it's just such a, like I said, Patty did it for nothing to me, but I just don't, I really don't think so. That's just my opinion. It's hard to find people like the hospitals found out. It's hard to find people no matter what you pay. So I mean, it's hard to find. It really is.
I guess my only comment on this is I wish it had been done before the budget hearings.
Right.
Taken care of sooner. So I realized what can runs this, I'm going to have the rest of the courthouse. I mean, I'm totally opposed to it, looking at it next year, but I don't think I can do it. That's my side of it, so.
Well, I guess I would make a comment that I don't think it's our job to try to make the employees at the courthouse necessarily. It's our job to make sure that the offices at the courthouse function. If somebody gets mad because somebody else is doing this, that's not our place to worry about. Well, my understanding though on those was that they tried to keep that employee and just had people.
So they didn't keep an employee.
The only one that lost is the treasurer and
I
I
thought
lost
the
it.
email you sent me, Matt, said that
Yes,
everybody
sir.
had to keep their.
Of the five, all three got to keep them because they had no place to pay them. The treasurer lost an employee, but gained $8,700 and we just lost it.
Okay, so two people, two offices.
Two
lost.
offices.
Zeros and the treasurers. Okay. But I just don't think that that should be the criteria that we use in making these kinds of decisions. Is whether or not we're gonna make somebody mad. Because
I'm not
that's
worried
not
about
us.
making them mad, I'm worried about what's fair to the employees. If they get mad, they get mad, that's their problem. You know, to me, this is an issue that could have been brought up well before budget. This has been going on for years. You know, I'm not blaming you, don't get me wrong, I'm just putting my 2 cents in here. And it could have been handled that time. And decisions may definitely not come in straight out of the first year, first meeting, and then.
I guess I don't see this, this is my opinion. I don't see that this is that much different than the prosecutor's new position that we just mentioned. That you said, because of our workload. we need a person. Right, and he's saying that he had volunteer hours, spread it through his other employees, and that's not any longer available to him. It should have been in the budget, I agree with that, but I don't think that we need to look at it objectively, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, then I guess a response to that, and Matt, is that part of what I don't find acceptable about this coming after the budget too, is the fact that you have flex time in your office and you're not there all the time in the office. So, I mean, if this is my opinion on how I would look at it, okay? So if you had your workers, your 4 workers in there, and they were there 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, except for sickness and vacation, and the same with you, then, and you're having trouble scrambling, I can maybe see it. But right now, you've got flex time going on in your office. And so that's where I'm coming from, okay?
Okay, I guess somebody needs to explain that to me, how
Well,
the flex.
my girls, I let them work 35 hours in 4 days. So they either work Monday through Thursday
Which they don't say,
or Tuesday through Friday. I've done that for about the last year.
or they work 4 days or 5, they work 35.
They work 35 hours. And me, you don't even want to know the hours. It would sound like I was bragging or something stupid. When I'm not here, I get more done.
Okay.
I'm here because there's meetings and people need me to sign. But it's just, if I went into detail, it'd just be, yeah. They're all everybody doing what an auditor does, and that's getting them to and do it right.
I guess I got a question though, I guess, that's the first time I've heard about flex time. So
Well,
is that,
it's not flex time. Flex time was used to have flex time years ago. We don't do flex time now. Flex time's a different thing, but otherwise she's saying to me, it's not being in the office. I agree. I'm not in the office.
You're still working your 35 hours a week. you're just
35 hours is quite shot. But
well, I was more concerned about the employee. If you're
they work 30.
if you're an elected official and
Oh,
theoretically, you only have to come one day a year, but to the office. But your other employees,
they come in.
is that a county policy that we can do that?
I'm not personally, unless they do something with the handbook, it's my office.
Okay,
So if I get their 35 hours in 4 days, and they feel good about that, they get their work done. If they were in there 4 days, they get the same amount of work done and the same.
And it's not just their office.
No, it's
there
another
are a few
office.
others that do.
I'm the only one that you can, I mean, when you come to me and say, hey, you're not in there enough days, I agree with you. I'm not in there as much as some people might like, but no one sees it. If you need me,
I don't
He's
disagree.
really back.
Everybody's got my cell phone, everybody's got my email.
I don't disagree, because a lot of times I got stuff I gotta get done. Before I work on.
Oh, yeah, I work late, most of the time, because phone's not ringing. the email.
If we were all there 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, it just simply. The only thing I might do is say heck with it. If I have to be, and they had a law passed, actually, the legislature passed a law that they want office holders to be in the office so long time. And that's just silly on the face of it. So, but if we were in here 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, we wouldn't get any more time. I might not even take it with me, commissioners, or whoever said, hey, you gotta be there. Screw it, you know, it'll be there. I get rid of that, get rid of that. You know, that's not a good attitude, but this way,
Right.
and, you know, there's other things in my personal life that some people know about. And so there's
Yes,
things
I
you gotta
just
do.
have one question for you.
Yes.
Matt. In the past, you've used a contractor. to come in and do this work, this description you're talking about. And
We
get it
do.
Done right. time and a
Yes,
half.
yes.
Is it cheaper than $7,000?
Oh, you mean the settlement? Oh, no, they don't do our settlement. Oh, no, not even close. They come in, we pay them because of their system, the MVP system.
Right.
And we can talk to them on the phone like you do anybody that serves you. She came down one day, it was about $1,500 for us.
But handle more than 50% of what you're talking. To where you probably use your part-time. Just so.
The settlement process, like I said, starts in February.
Understand.
Okay. It's not,
Trained, somebody's going to be trained, but he does.
if I could find someone who'd do it for $11.50 an hour for whatever hours you give me or money, I would do it. I really don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, I think I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, like where they're coming from on the part-time. I'm not sure that they're saying you train somebody part-time to maybe do the settlement. You train somebody part-time to do some of the other functions in the office so that your full-time people that you have in there now can help step in and learn this.
I don't know if it's been part-time or extra. I don't know how
Yeah.
I'm trying.
A part-time is rates $11.50 extra.
Well,
hour.
no, I'm talking about, like she said, just to have somebody in there, it'd be more like. Did you have a budget for extra?
Yes,
Yeah, you let me move it.
$5,000.
It's in part-time.
Yeah.
Okay, how much is that?
5,000.
Crazy. And then on the other hand, I go with what Brent said about budget time. And I see what you said
Well,
about the.
yeah. The judges brought forth and you approved that.
I'm
I mean,
trying
I
to be
understand.
objective and go around in circles, but I just can't see justifying $37,000 a year position on something that we've handled up to today.
Well, I told you why that was.
I know. you-
Okay.
I agree with their
Hey,
comment,
I mean, for me, you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean,
Well,
I understand. I respect it.
because I realize we're doing that, you're not gonna find work. No, that's not gonna.
That's really not an issue.
Secondly, yes, you're gonna start losing because they've got their years in. And if you do drop NIVA, you're not gonna get a part-time person and say, okay, if NIVA just fell here, so I'm not. 4 years of that job, that doesn't work either. Because as you know, in Linton, we lost our treasurer. Again, it's one of those things you just have.
That's an elected position, isn't it?
Uh,
Is that an elected position?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
And, it's one of those things you just have to fight and try to get through it. I'd be happy to take a hope and look at this next year, but I just don't think I can go with it this year. Because you got some.
Because the thing is, we'll make it work.
Yeah, you got to stand that
We'll
same
make
thing over there, we gotta make it work.
Yeah.
It's basically, he's, what you are, just labeled different. First strings.
Do you have a part-time person now? Do you have $5,000 in the budget for a
Yes.
part-time person? You don't have that person.
I haven't hired.
So if you had a part-time person, like they were saying, you do something on Monday and tell us. out to full-time people. That $5,000 we get back for that part-time person. What kind of idea would they, part-time coverage would you take that one for percent?
I just don't know what it worked.
Full-time comes with benefits too.
The one they took away from us had the same benefits.
So
It's a circular argument here. It just is.
you're looking at another 22,000 a year in benefits.
Depending on.
What I was trying to say, I think what they were trying to say is that the part-time person doing something. So
There's not, I was gonna say, there's not a whole lot of,
It's not much more danger.
not really.
I'm not for part-time.
We don't have any, we have no reason.
You're not gonna get part-time. They won't drive down for full-time and gas fees, 319 or 350 down. Well, you know, that's one reason. Moving down south and she wasn't driving as far.
Not for
Yeah. Anyway, that's. So,
If you don't make a motion on it, I know it's dead. So,
what I'm seeing is everybody has a point. I'm not against you. I just.
But things, there may be some things that have to give. That's what it's on. I still respect-
I know next year's budget.
Do something with this or take it.
I'm not gonna table.
We don't table it, but
If you don't make a motion.
Karen, if Kelly calls for a motion and there is no motion to approve the description, then it will die for the lack of a motion.
okay, so I would entertain a motion to accept what Matt is wanting, a settlement deputy. Approval of the job description.
I'll make the motion. I really think that it's important to keep the auditor's office going.
Second. Greg, are you still with us?
Yeah, I could, what, was there a motion made?
Aaron made the motion for Matt's settlement deputy job description and employee approval. We're looking for a second. Okay, so I don't think there's a second, so I think it's. Okay, so the next thing, a library board appointment, Bloomfield Eastern Green Library.
I got it.
Somebody doing that to.
No, I can't remember who it was, just Charlene Klemper was voted to fill this. It started September 30th of last year, but they thought it was the Eastern Green School supposed to approve it. So she's been working without proper approval. It's really the council. that approves it.
Oh, okay.
So if you approve it, it will just say retroactive, I guess, till September 30th of 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve. Your appointed library board member is it today?
Okay. Second. What are we doing? It's for the Bloomfield Eastern Green Library approval.
It's a council appointment. Charlotte Klemper.
But it's going to be retroactive.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, she's been serving that. She's been serving it. Dinah Fuller, I think is the. whose name?
Second on this. In favor by roll call, Joe?
Yep.
Brent? Karen? Greg?
Bill,
Yes. so now we're needing to look at the annual appointments for the SIDC board. Joe, will you still stay in that position?
Yeah, if you want.
Do we have to make a motion for each one of these? Marvin,
If you want to go through them and confirm the
confirm
willingness
what
of
we
everybody
got.
to serve, and then to make the motion to approve all appointees and incorporate the list by reference, I'd be real satisfied with that.
Okay,
That was maybe a little quicker.
okay. Solid waste. Brent, are you still? Okay. I think that Greg said that each of these, Lori Spear is still willing to be on the alcohol beverage board.
That's right.
Okay. Economic Development Corporation, Greg, are you willing to stay there?
Yes.
Okay. Ron, are you willing to stay on as the Economic Development Commission? Okay. And then for the redevelopment commission, Greg, and then there's Christy Hartsburg. Did she say yes to that?
Yeah.
Okay. Ambulance board. Are you two discussing that?
Ambulance?
Yes.
Yeah. Why want it? He wants it.
Well, you can vote on it if you want to. You can vote on it if you want to.
Okay, so I'm not sure what we do in that situation. Ambulance board, Joe's on it right now.
Move on, deal with the
Move on
rest
to
of
that.
them, come
Okay.
back to the ambulance board as a separate issue.
Okay. Community Corrections Board, Greg, are you willing to stay on there?
Yes.
Okay. Emergency Management Advisory Board is Jerry Fry. I don't know what to do about him. Have we-
Suggest you table that.
Okay, table this one. Okay, and then the Health Insurance Trustee Board, Ron and myself. Ron, you're willing to stay there. Plan Commission, Karen. Personnel Administration Committee, one term. I would like to take that over from Jerry, so do we need to vote on that after also?
That's right. Hold it
Okay.
till the end. Vote on
Okay.
it separately, please.
Property Tax Board of Appeals, Irene Davis and Bill Sipes, were they both, Greg, willing to keep that?
I had talked to Marvin on this and I've heard nothing from any of them that they wanted off. So I'm going to assume that they all want to be on unless I hear different.
Okay. And then the same with the Regional Sewer District, Louis Massett and Tim Turpin.
I can confirm that they are both willing to continue to serve.
Okay, thank you. And then the Tourism Board, John Cotter, and then I know we need another board member for a 4-year appointment because Richard Nichols does not want to be on there. I did not have anybody in particular for that. Greg, did you find out anybody?
No,
that-
I never had anybody. We might want to make it known that we're looking and see if somebody wants to throw their hat in the ring.
Do the commissioners know of anybody that's mentioned wanting to take over Richard's position? No, so we need to table the tourism board.
No, you can approve
approve
John
John
as a part
and
of the knowns
Okay.
and table the remaining unknown.
Okay, so right now I just need a motion to approve the annual appointments outside of the ambulance board and the personnel administration.
So
And-
made.
And the one, and then we'll need to find somebody for Richard Nichols,
So made.
okay?
Second.
All those in favor, roll call, Joe,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Brent,
Aye.
Karen, Greg,
All right.
and I am a yes. Okay, so now how do we do this with the ambulance board? Have
Call for-
two,
Call for nominations.
okay,
More than one person may be nominated. Close the nominations. All in favor of A, all in favor of B.
okay. So ambulance board nominations. Okay, so, okay. Anybody else want to nominate? Greg, we're on nominations for ambulance board.
Okay,
Joe
who,
will paint it, and Ron would like to be part of it, so we're doing nominations.
okay,
So we've got a nomination from Brent for Ron.
and Joe wants to be on it?
Yes.
I'll nominate Joe. I'm having a little hard time hearing the details on a few things.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so we'll do a vote on nomination A, Ron Lehman. So roll call vote, Joe,
I have to abstain.
right? Okay, Ron, staying. Brent? Okay, Karen? Greg,
Aye.
do you want to vote for Ron or for Joe? We're on Ron right now.
Well, it's actually trying to determine how many for Ron,
Ron,
how many for
okay,
Joe.
so
It's a
Greg.
single vote.
Okay, and then I will be yes for Ron too.
What did Greg say? Did he say Joe?
Yes. Or he said yes on Ron, but I think he meant Joe.
Let's clarify that then.
Okay,
Greg,
all right, hold on a minute. I thought both of them were wanting, we could put both of them. We're just putting one on?
We
There's
only
only-
have the one position available, Greg, for the council.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought there was two positions available.
No, sir.
Okay, I'll go ahead and vote for Joe.
okay. So 3 for Ron and 1 for Joe.
That vote is not gonna fly.
That's just on me.
No.
Okay, we need a fourth vote.
Yes or no on me.
Greg, we have 2 abstentions and that we,
I will change my vote to Ron. I didn't understand. I thought we were voting for 2 positions instead of 1.
Okay. Do we need to do it?
I
again?
think I would recommend recalling the vote. How
Okay,
many for Ron, then how many for Joe?
okay. Recalling the vote, how many for voting for Ron for the ambulance board? We have an abstention from Joe, an abstention from Ron. Brent? Okay, Karen? Greg?
Aye.
Pardon? Did you say Ron? And then I'll.
Ron, aye, yes.
Okay, so 4-0. And then votes for Joe?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Okay. So ambulance board will be Ron.
Sorry about that, folks.
All right.
Okay. And then we will need to vote on the Personnel Administration Committee that helps with the handbook. Jerry Fry was on there this past year, and I said I would like that. So
Call for nominations.
nominations for Personnel Administration.
I'll Kelly.
Okay,
Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none, the nominations are closed.
okay. And then those that vote aye, roll call Joe.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, Ron, Brent.
Aye.
Karen. And Greg.
Aye.
Okay, and I abstain. Okay. Any business from you, Marvin?
Nothing to add.
Okay, any other business to come before the council?
I've got one thing.
We didn't do EMS, right? Table that.
Which one?
We're just gonna leave that one.
Which we were tabling the Emergency Management Advisory Board. Do I need to make it?
Formally, you should do.
Have a motion for that?
Call for a
Okay.
motion to table.
Okay, so do I have a motion to table the Emergency Management Advisory Board appointment? So moved.
I'll say.
Okay. Call vote. Joe?
Yes. Yes.
Brent? Karen? Greg?
Aye.
And I. Okay.
I just wanted to add that if the council has projects that they'd like for the commissioners to consider for the ARPA money, let us know so we can see how it fits into the plan.
Okay,
You know, we're all in it together, so.
Left out of the original 300.
1.3,
That's only the appropriation you have.
I thought the 1.6 was the appropriation.
It may have been before you spent some, but you haven't appropriated all the 3.1.
Right. But there'll be another 3.
Yeah, that'd be.
So I think there's somewhere like 1.395 or something like that.
Still left with nothing.
That has not been appropriated yet.
okay.
With more covenants.
Yeah, another 3.1 coverage.
Okay, is there any other business to come before, thank you, Nathan, any other business to come before the council? Okay, if not, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Karen, Greg?
Aye.
Okay,
Kelly, you done a good job.
thank you. I didn't know I was gonna have to.
It's tough to do the roll call. You done a good job.
Oh.
Yes, guys. It's your turn.